I'm Gillian Flynn, and my book is Gone Girl. Gone Girl is a thriller, and it's about Nick and Amy Dunn, and Amy goes missing on their 5-year wedding anniversary. And the story is told as kind of a he said, she said sort of marital tug of war. So one chapter is narrated by Nick as he, on the day that Amy goes missing, is telling us about what's happening, and he becomes a person of interest and a suspect in her disappearance. And in alternate chapters is told by Amy, who is writing a journal, and it's from back in the days when they first were in love, all the way up to the day that she goes missing. And things start being revealed by both of them. They're both sort of unreliable narrators. You have to decide who you're going to believe. I knew I really wanted to write about marriage. My first two novels dealt with very isolated and alienated characters who couldn't quite make any connections, so I wanted to go the other direction and look at long-term relationships and what happens when you get really entwined with another person, and particularly if that other person isn't perhaps not the best person for you. And so I wanted to tell it, I wanted readers to not be able to figure out what their allegiance was. You know, when you're with Nick, I wanted them to kind of feel like they were siding with Nick and understood his point of view. And when they were with Amy, I wanted them to be siding with Amy. And just the way you feel when you're in a tug of war with your friends who are having an argument, that, you know, whoever you're with, you're kind of, oh, well, they have a point too. And I wanted to take that idea of no one knows what happens in other people's marriages and twist that a little bit and say, do you even know what happens in your own marriage? We assumed the book would do fine. You know, I knew I liked the book, but that doesn't mean that it's going to translate to anyone else. You know, we weren't sure. I wasn't sure, at least. And so when it debuted very high and then, you know, hit #1 within a month, men can relate to it, and because Nick is kind of the primary narrator, but Amy also has a big voice, and I think it speaks to relationships specifically that right now. I think it seems to have a very current feel to people. That kind of gender tug of war that we have, and you know, everyone has been in a failed relationship probably, and can feel that sense of what is happening when the relationship is going the wrong way and you can't quite figure out how to fix it because you know, just have too many inherent differences. And I think people can relate to those different sections pretty well. It does have all that, you can dig down into more than just the mystery and more than the twists, and actually use it as a way to talk about your relationships. And, you know, I hear from a lot of people that certain things struck a chord, and that it helped kind of articulate how men and women interact, or how people in long-term relationships interact, and the different little weird power plays and give and take and ebb and flow of any sort of long-term relationship. And I think people can pull things out of that, and the gender differences, the way men see things and the way women see things, and it gives us a kind of a good vocabulary to talk about our own relationships and what they mean and how we interact, and how close to home it feels.